One other thing I wanted to share with you, Mesoamerica's Mystery Killer. As you know, I'm a member of the AAAS, the American Academy for the Advancement of Sciences. And so I subscribe to, along with your membership, they don't pay me anything to say this, right? I'm just a member. I have been for most of my life. Along with it, you get a copy of their magazine, Science. And it's weekly, and it's fascinating. The 11 April edition is out right now, and I have the digital. I subscribe to the digital, the online version. And there's an article in it titled Mesoamerica's Mystery Killer. Mesoamerica being kind of, middle America. This is Guatemala, El Salvador, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, and Panama. And what's happening is there's this explosion of a disease called CKDU, chronic kidney disease of unknown etiology. And it's hitting in southern Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, and Panama. And it is, unlike normal kidney failure, this is hitting young men. It's 3 times more men than women. It's hitting young people, and it's hitting agricultural workers. And it's starting to reach epidemic proportions. In Costa Rica, for example, in El Salvador, the main reason adults die in El Salvador's hospitals is not old age, it's not lung cancer, it's not heart disease, it's CKDU. It's this chronic kidney disease of unknown etiology. And what happens basically is the kidneys just gradually, actually over a relatively rapid period of time, a matter of a year or two, lose their ability to filter poisons out of the blood, and you die. You go into kidney failure. And without a kidney transplant or without dialysis, you're toast. So the question is, what's causing this? Because it's exploding recently. And they've got a couple of hot leads on this. One is there's 2 main theories. The first main theory is that these are, farm workers. They're out there working in the heat. It's really, really hot out there. They're out there working in the heat. And this depletes the body of fluids, which makes the kidneys work harder. The kidneys have a tough time when you're dehydrated. So, and repeated dehydration, I'm reading now from this piece in Science magazine, looking for the authors of the piece, so I can credit them, but I don't see them on the front. They say repeated dehydration disrupts a biochemical pathway leading to excess conversion of glucose to fructose. Now, glucose is your basic simple sugar, and it's the sugar that appears in cane sugar, and a lot of these are cane workers, so they may be chewing on cane. The enzyme fructokinase, which metabolizes fructose, then creates high levels of kidney-damaging uric acid, antioxidants, and immune system messengers that cause inflammation. So this was the theory, that the dehydration is making these people vulnerable to sugar, basically, and that the sugar is then killing off their kidneys. And they tested this hypothesis by subjecting mice to hours of high heat at a stretch, restricting their water intake in one group but not another, and then giving them high-sugar drinks, high-fructose drinks. And sure enough, this was published in Kidney International, the December edition, kidney damage occurred only in normal mice on restricted water, providing compelling support for what some call now the heat plus hypothesis. In other words, what's killing these people is that they're working in the hot sun and sweating like crazy, but what's new about it is that instead of drinking water, they're drinking sugared sodas, particularly ones that have high levels of fructose. And that's taking out, here, I'll quote, Johnson wonders whether people who are developing the disease might become dehydrated, then to quench their thirst, drink sodas that are high in fructose, compounding the problem. Rehydrating with soft drinks, he suggests, may toast the kidneys. So that's one theory. The other theory is, we've seen an increase in these high fructose soft drinks out in the fields. The other theory is a particular pesticide called glyphosate, You may have heard of it by its brand name. It's called Roundup. And a scientist by the name of Carlos Orantes, who's a nephrologist, that's a kidney doctor at the National Institutes of Health in San Salvador, he's skeptical of that. He says, we're not obsessed with pesticides, but we think they're at the center of the problem here. And they did a study in 2009, a demographic study, and I'll read again from Science Magazine. Orantes thinks the coastal regions may have the CKDU because the heat increases susceptibility to nephrotoxic, that is kidney toxic, effects of the pesticides, the true cause. He also says that the pesticides interact with heavy metals like arsenic to poison the kidneys. And he points to research out of Sri Lanka suggesting that it's glyphosate in the pesticides. The glyphosate, Roundup, glyphosate in pesticides chelates arsenic, boosting its levels in the water and its potential to damage the kidney's delicate filtering machinery. And his team, quoted from Science, and his team has preliminary evidence that arsenic levels are higher in fields surrounding the cemetery than in the nearby village. The cemetery is this area where all these guys were buried out in the fields, where they were working. So if that's the case, it could be that arsenic is leaching back out of the bodies because they were poisoned by arsenic, because the arsenic was chelated out of the soil and out of the water by the glyphosate and then absorbed into their bodies, and high levels of arsenic. So basically they died of arsenic poisoning that took out their kidneys, and the result and it was from this pesticide. So these are the two big theories, but it's a huge debate going on right now among scientists. And obviously, on one side, you've got the soft drink manufacturers, and on the other side, you've got actually, it's an herbicide, glyphosate manufacturers, who are both saying, "Hey, wait a minute, let's get this research under control."